Valley podcast.
Today we're talking organic farming. Do you ever wonder where your food comes from? That's what got us started on this adventure.
In each episode, we ask experts to weigh in on the food topics that matter to you, from growers to producers to chefs.
And I challenge John, Darren and you to learn more about your food and the stories behind it. From our hub on Vancouver Island in the beautiful Comox Valley, join us as we explore our edible valley.
Welcome to another episode of the Edible Valley podcast. I'm chef and host Jonathan Frazier.
And I'm Darren Howlett. Back again.
Yes, we are. Wow, we never left.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
For us, it's been 3 minutes. For you, it's been a week. We're back now. Still here at Pattison Farms with Gerry Pattison. Thank you very much for having us again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Twice in one day.
Yeah, we wanted to talk a little more about the process and organic farming, being that you were, one of the pioneers of this area, at least for organic farming. I'm sure that you've got lots that you could talk about, or we have lots of questions for you, at least. That's all right. All right.
I know we broke into some of this in the first episode, but we're like, why organic farming?
Yeah.
Is the real question.
I mean, there's the health benefits, of course, and it's better practices for earth. Can you go into that a bit more? That's better for, like, organic farming is better to the soil in the local area?
Yeah, it's better for the environment.
Yeah.
We don't have any pesticides. We have no synthetic fertilizer.
Right.
It's we get a bug outbreak. We have to work at it. We just can't go spray something.
Right.
And,
right.
And for me, it's important.
Yeah.
Because you spray food, and doesn't matter how hard you wash it, it's still got some residuals on it, right?
Right. It's become part of that food now.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's all kinds of, I don't know about benefits, things about organic farming that. I've been on conventional farms, and they seem to be always stressed out, and they were much bigger farms, so I can imagine, because I get stressed out here, but it's a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like you saw our staff going home today.
Yeah.
It's like
pretty casual.
They're all like, hi, we're going.
So it's. If you stay on top of it, it's not a big deal. A lot of people freak out over the paperwork, and the first year, you do freak out because it's a lot of paperwork.
Right.
But once you get it done the first time,
right,
you put it into it's called iCertify, and it's online. So, like, your name doesn't change, your address doesn't change,
right?
All that stuff doesn't change. So each year it gets shorter and shorter and shorter,
right?
Because I remember I had a binder, and I spent 2.5 hours a day,
oh my God,
doing paperwork just for that.
Oh, really?
And now it's like you go in at night and what happened today? Oh, nothing. So it's come a long ways now too, and and it used to be the COABC was the certifying main body, and now it's called Organic BC.
Right.
So they changed the name, and for organizational reasons, and then there's they're the main body, and then there's all the little certifying bodies around the province. So.
Wow.
So yeah.
You said something, I didn't want to get too far away from it. You said something about synthetic compost or something.
No,
like that.
synthetic
fertilizer
inputs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't even aware that was a thing. Like, they're synthetics. Like, they just.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're made out of chemicals.
Oh, wow.
Petroleum and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so you're just getting your own fertilizer here, or
well, we have a lot of compost.
Right.
Organic farmers are really good composters.
Right.
Like,
right, because I guess you wouldn't be able to bring in compost.
We can bring in compost if it's been aged for 2 years, and there's a whole process
Oh, wow.
to making it happen, and then there's Omri, which is they can get their compost certified.
Wow.
And so then it cuts down the paperwork
Right.
on our end, and and a lot of the fertilizers are certified with Eco Cert now, so that cuts the paperwork down too. You know, if it's something new, we send the paper off to the certifying body, our certifying bodies in Cowichan.
Oh yeah.
And it's IOPA, and they have a panel and they review it and yay or nay it. So
Wow. And so you said organic farmers do a lot of their own composting.
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We have all our vegetable matter,
Right.
And we've got 3 compost piles on the property.
Oh yeah.
We have one for the lawn, the
Right.
grass. It's where the weeds go.
Right.
Then we can put them back on the grass and cut them weekly. So then we have a nice clean one for the fields, for the vegetables.
Oh yeah.
Here we have a problem with carbon. We don't have really enough carbon to mix in.
Oh yeah.
It's just different times of the year we're short.
Right.
So we just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Is that why the apple tree was down? Is that going to be becoming part of that? Or?
it's going to become firewood.
Oh, firewood. Yeah.
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 So in November, when I got my feet up, I can remember the apple tree.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's awesome. I do know that every time that I've had a garden, I make it sound like I've had tons. I've only had a few, but every time that was one of the things I really wanted to master and just never got to it. Was I wanted to do very healthy, composting but I would layer it with this and layer it with that, read this, read that, and it would never turn out the way I'd hoped, or never really get much out of it.
yeah.
But yeah.
We produce around 65 yards of compost a year on this farm.
Wow.
That's about half of what we need.
Oh, wow.
So
That's amazing.
I'm just thinking I just shoveled half a yard of
Gravel.
gravel.
Well,
I'm like, wow.
I get in our pile with a big tractor,
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
and in about 20 minutes I can move 40 or 50 yards.
Oh, okay. Well, you got
Wow.
me beat.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm looking at this as organic. There's a lot of science that you probably have to understand, like to keep the soil as nutrient as possible. And like,
Yeah, and pests like aphids are a problem. Wireworm is a problem. Flea beetles, things
So
like.
how do you deal with those then?
Well, for the kales with the flea beetles, we rake them. We built a rake. It's a sheet of poly and a piece of 1-inch Sked 40 and a rope, and we paint one side of it with honey.
Really?
And then when you drag it all over the plants, the bar hits the plant, and the flea beetles go the opposite direction you're going, so they onto the honey and they get stuck.
Oh, wow.
So we can clean out a bed of flea beetles in usually less than a week.
Wow.
really?
Yeah, and then you give them the hot water bath
Yeah.
and mush them around and rinse it off, and that's the end of them.
Wow.
And it's that easy. If that's saying
Yeah, well,
easy.
yeah. Yeah, it's easy to say. So
No, that's just an ingenious workaround for, I guess, where other people would just use a spray bottle and be like,
Well, yeah.
squirt. Yeah.
yeah, we'll spray this on,
Yeah.
and if you're a home gardener and it's, like I don't have a lot of time, you just get a handful of granular. I'm growing tomatoes, handful of granular, and you're done.
Right.
Like we grow in our tomato greenhouse. We have 7 rows with what is in there? I don't even know. It's 200, around 200 plants a row.
Oh my God.
And they have to be all pruned every week.
Wow.
And they have to be pruned when it's warm. You can't prune them when they're cold because they break.
Right.
Stems have to be soft so you can turn them.
Wow.
So we get to have lunch and then go in there and sweat for 2 hours. Yeah. So and with the pests becoming more and more biological controls.
Right.
Like this is a bad bug. This is a good bug. It's going to get the bad bug.
Right.
So we do some testing for the Agra Station in Agassiz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so work with some scientists there,
Right.
and it's pretty cool stuff. It's like this war going on in your soil.
That's pretty amazing. Bring in instead of going for the chemical option, just bringing in their predators.
Well, yeah, and it takes time though.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to put in the time.
Right.
They just like, I need these bugs gone right now. I don't want to mess around with them for a week or two or a month.
Right.
Because they usually come back.
Wow.
So, like our greenhouses, we get a aphid outbreak in there. We usually put in the smaller ones, we put around 5,000 ladybugs in there.
Oh, wow.
And we see, and
How do you can just get 5,000 ladybugs?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that was a thing.
They arrive in a box.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and so you have to put them in there at night, so
Really?
they won't move, and you have to water the plants because they're thirsty. So you go in there in the dark, water the plants, and let them go. And spread them around. They come in shredded paper.
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
spread them around on the plants, and then in the morning when the sun hits them, they wake up and they're thirsty, so they have a drink, and then they go, "Whoa, look at all this food."
That's incredible.
And they do a great job, and they hang around. So like when they never eat all the aphids,
Right.
Because you don't kill your food source,
Right.
But a lot of them will go out in the field, and then we get another outbreak. They come back in again and do it all over.
Wow.
We don't have to go and get 5,000 more,
Right.
type of thing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Do you mind me asking what 5,000 ladybugs costs?
Costs? I don't really know right now. We haven't had any for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
But it's
Yeah, right. That's one of those things I just have no
Yeah.
concept of the price. Like you could say it was $5, and I'd be like, oh, and you could say it was 5,000. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, somewhere in between there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then you get nematodes and stuff for in the soil.
Oh, yeah.
So they seek out the larva,
Right.
and they bore into them and eat them from the inside out.
Oh, wow.
So
Sounds gruesome.
yeah, yeah. Bug wars.
Bug wars.
Yeah. Wow.
We didn't ask in the last episode, but how many people do you employ here on the farm?
We have 6,
6.
Oh, yeah.
and me.
Wow.
Yeah. According to the staff, I don't really count. So
Well, John was telling me, I didn't know much about the history, so he was telling me on the way up. You started this with a partner, and no.
no,
Oh, I thought there was a partner at one point.
no. John, a friend of ours, he lives just down the road.
Oh, yeah.
And he, the whole business plan was it's going to be him and I.
Right.
And it was fine when we had a market garden, but once we got on to 2.5 acres and the two of us, it was a little more stressful. Now we're on 7 acres,
Right.
so yeah.
Yeah. So it went. I see.
Like I said, it got carried away.
All right.
Now, I know we had an interesting conversation back about getting seeds and being able to start with your vegetables, and that has been a bit of a difficulty for you sometimes.
Yeah,
and
last year was the worst. It was all about COVID, and you can't have
right.
seeds because of COVID, and you can't ship them from America
Oh.
to Canada because of COVID, and border services were all screwed up,
Right.
and that. So, but yeah, this year's been a little better. It's not perfect. We still we order stuff. Yeah, we have it. Then it doesn't arrive.
All right.
So then you have to go order it somewhere else again.
Wow.
Then it arrives, and you got twice as much as you need.
Oh yeah.
So, we do some field testing for new products, new vegetables with Johnny's Seeds in Maine. So,
Oh yeah.
we don't do a lot of it right now. A few years ago we did a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice. We try out some new stuff, and and see what it's going to do. Then I can bring it to John and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Yeah.
I get that quite often. I love it.
Something wild. Yeah, we got a couple of things growing now that are new and hopefully exciting. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
But I guess there is also a limited areas that you can get seed from just to keep it organic, because it's not like you can go into any
we
store.
can buy non-organic seed. It can't be treated,
Right.
but we can have just natural seed if organic seed is not available. But we have to prove it's not available. You have to have 4 sources where you look to find it.
Oh wow.
So I just, I do a spreadsheet. I don't know how everybody else does it, but it took 21 hours
Wow.
to research it for the amount of seed we buy.
Wow.
And that's a lot because we have so many different varieties
Right.
of things that we
Right.
grow, So
I really wish I had that sheet that you sent to Renaud with what we bought from you last year. And it was 2 pages, and you had the amounts and all that, and I was like, wow.
I can get that. I know. if you want it, I can get it for you.
No, I have it, but I wanted it for the podcast because I was going to go through and be like, wow, we got that many salad greens from you, and that
Right.
much,
Yeah.
the Asian greens and the kale mix from you, and
Yeah. That came from my training in corporate world. I had an inside sales staff of 8 people. And we had a twice a month meeting, and I asked them, I said, what did you sell the most of? And they never knew.
What?
28 years, they never got it right once.
Wow.
Because all you remember is what you sold a lot of and what you had the most problems with,
Right.
not what you really sold.
Right.
Yeah. So, so I think it's a helpful sheet.
It's
Yeah.
a great sheet, but
Yeah. So,
I can see why you've taken on to organic, just because you've had to use a lot of those tools to keep yourself organized for.
oh yeah. 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 And, and coming from corporate world, the more organized you can be, the better you are.
Right.
So I have a lot of reports I don't really print. I just follow them.
Right.
So I know, because I'm
Yeah.
not going to remember. So, but yeah.
So, I guess at the end of the day, for all the effort that you've put in and all the extra work and all the extra paperwork and the certification and all these governing bodies, is it worth it? Like for you?
Yeah.
Do you find it worth it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's a niche market.
Yeah.
It's a niche product. And when Gordon Campbell was the premier,
Right.
then the marketing boards got on their horse and said, organic farming is going to become part of the marketing board.
Right.
And Gordon Campbell said, well, it's not. And he declared it a specialty farm process,
Really?
and he fired the marketing boards that didn't follow the line.
Wow.
So
I wasn't aware of that. That's crazy.
yeah, so it was. Yeah, I was the president of small scale processing at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was one of my other jobs.
Wow.
I think I'm the only. I think I have the most non-paying jobs in the world. I do a lot of things.
Wow. That's awesome.
But yeah, and I got into small scale because I wanted to see the processing side,
Yeah.
like closely what they do, how they do it, problems they have. So we've been able to adjust our farm
Right.
for that part of the market.
Right.
Be able to see what's coming
Yeah.
and how to do it efficiently. And
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was president for 8 years doing that.
Wow.
For all of Canada.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, nothing like going to Quebec for dinner. and back.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's just another aspect of what
Right.
we do.
Well,
That's great. I wanted to ask you a little bit about farming practices too with organic, but like I'm talking about like crop rotation and tilling and taking care of the soil. Like I guess there's extra steps that have to be taken involved.
Yeah, we're on a 5-year crop rotation here.
yeah.
So every 5 years, each variety comes back to where it was originally. And so we have 20 years of data now
Right.
on that. So, David is our field manager. And so he keeps track of that. And he's actually written us a software program for our farm for rotations. It does succession planting.
Oh, wow.
All kinds of stuff. It's really a fabulous program. So
That's fantastic.
So it's not a guessing going, we planted this year, let's plant something else.
it used to be.
Right.
And like succession planting is one of the hardest things of farming.
I mean, I'm not familiar with it entirely, but I can infer from the name. I would suspect that there's certain things that grow better after something else, or something that
that too, but with
rejuvenates the soil after.
Yeah, well, that's in your rotations,
Right.
But in succession planting, so you plant green onions, then 3 weeks later you plant green onions again, so that John's not out,
Right.
and it's trying to remember that,
Right. All right.
when you've got 100 varieties going on,
Right.
So now it just pops up. It's
Right.
like, you need to plant green onions. Okay. Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, we have a planting order sheet that we've created for seeding, so we know how many seeds we've seeded, the variety, where it goes, and then we can follow it along in the rotation. And
Wow. That's fantastic.
yeah, we planted 30,000 onions last week.
30,000
Seeds, yeah.
Oh my God.
Very therapeutic.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I'm glad that's done.
And that's not going to come up till late in the season.
Yeah, their storage.
Right.
We aim for the end of August. The sweet ones will be earlier. They're up now. They popped up in 5 days, so
Wow.
that was good. So, but yeah, we have we try and get a lot of storage stuff because we have the facilities to store things.
Yeah.
And extend their life so that we have something for the winter.
Right.
Is
Is that what all these bins are? Or is that just...
No, that's the bins, our shipping bins.
Shipping bins, oh yeah.
Yeah, we put a clean new liner in every time.
Oh yeah.
So, it's pretty slow right now, but
Yeah.
you don't want to be here on a Tuesday in the summer. Everything comes in that door and goes out that door.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's but yeah, with the rotations, it's very important if you're going to have a continual supply.
Right.
And then you get times where the second rotation catches up to the first one, so then you get twice as much as you need,
Right.
or one doesn't grow. There's all kinds of things.
I know we've had a couple times where greens have been doing really well, and then the weather changes, and all of a sudden they're like, no, I'm going to.
Well, English cucumbers are probably the worst.
Really?
They're growing like crazy, and then a cloud goes by and they stop. If you want, their leaves fold down.
Really?
And they're like, yeah, we're not growing. Then the cloud goes by and the sun comes out. They're boing.
Really? Wow.
What you were? This is off subject of organic, but you were telling me about cucumbers. You have some curly cucumbers.
Curly ones.
You said the round ones that they'll fit in your lunchbox.
Oh yeah, sailboat cucumbers.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Because English cucumbers, you have to prune the plant to get straight cucumbers, right? And if you don't get a straight one, you can't wrap them. And if you don't wrap them, they don't keep.
Right.
So if they grow and hit a leaf axis or a tendril, they turn,
Oh, really?
And sometimes they'll hit a leaf, turn, hit a leaf, turn.
Oh, really?
And they're about this round, and it's a whole English cucumber, but it's only like 6 inches across.
Wow.
It just goes round and round.
Crazy.
Yeah, we used to have fun with that. Yeah,
Wow.
we've grown a lot of different kinds of cucumbers too, and it's
Yeah.
we grew Armenian ones one year in our first greenhouse, and we thought, oh yeah, we're going camping because the cucumber is only this long. We came back and it was just about 4 feet long.
What? Oh my god! Oh, those are the long running ones.
Yeah, they're fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost like a kiwi version of cucumber.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So we come back, there's this thing hanging from the roof, like, whoa.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
love these stories about vegetables actually that you tell, because you were telling like the radishes you were telling about, the ones growing outside to the ones that grow in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Just with the leaves.
Yeah, with the leaves difference. Outside, they seem when they get wind, they get prickly.
Yeah.
And then we grow them inside, and the leaves you can throw in a salad, and they're kind of radishy and smooth and
Right, nice and tender. And,
nice and tender, yeah.
Right.
But
wow.
yeah, you take those ones outside and there's no way. So
No, there's a lot, we don't grow any radishes outside at all.
Right.
Because, our rows are all 150 feet long. If you plant 150 feet of radishes, then you got too many radishes, and they're too close, so you have to thin them. Then the bugs enjoy them, and
Right.
then they don't get enough water. They get hot and prickly, and
Well, it's a nice, yeah. Right. Wow.
we have a tighter
Wow.
control.
So how many different foods do you think you grow through here in a year? Do you know?
Yeah. Last year we were 100. It was a little less than normal. We were 116 kinds of veg.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're normally 124.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It's a lot of work keeping that much organized.
especially when you're doing continual starts on a lot of things too.
Well,
right?
yeah, and like in September, the tomatoes want to ripen some more, and they have to come out because we have to get them out, get the soil prepped, and get the spinach in.
Right.
For the winter, and the Asian greens and
Yeah.
arugula and all that stuff, So if you were here on the day, you come in the morning, there's the tomatoes.
Right.
We grow them to 14 feet high.
Wow.
And come in the afternoon, they're gone, the soil's prepped, and the next morning we plant it.
Wow. It's incredible.
So, yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, today we're planting beets.
Oh yeah.
And the next rotation of salad, Asian greens, things like that. And they planted, it was like over 600 flats
So you flats.
today. Yeah, there's
Oh my God.
72 plants in each flat.
Oh my god.
So,
That's insane.
yeah,
Wow, that's fantastic. I guess, do you have, this is stab in the dark, but do you have any estimations as to like how much poundage or tonnage of food you're making in a year?
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do. I don't know off the top of my
okay.
head,
But you do track it.
but I do know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we're amazed
Yeah.
at the pounds produced.
Yeah.
Like in August, it was 2 years ago in August, we thought, man, it just seems like we had a lot of stuff.
Right.
And we figured it out at the end of the day, and it was just about 1.5 tons we shipped that one day.
That day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And you think about it, it's not that, like, it's 15 acres is a big farm, but it's not that big
Producing
in the
3,000
scale.
pounds in that day.
No, we're intense. To be kind, like, yeah, we measure everything in income per foot,
Right.
and if it doesn't make it, it doesn't grow again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I always get a kick out of people growing cabbage, because
There's no return.
well, cabbage it takes 1.5 feet,
Right.
right? So you're at wholesale probably. If you're $3, you're lucky.
Right.
Put orange carrots in there, and you're about $25.
Right. Wow.
You know, and all the people we've mentored over the years, first thing I ask them, what are you going to grow? First thing they say, cabbage.
Really?
Yep, every time. And I keep saying, don't do that. And they do it.
Really?
And then they phone me back and say, hey, you were right. So, yeah. So it's pretty funny.
Wow.
That's interesting. I never actually thought about growing in that way. Is that by the square footage, right? Like this much
Yeah,
per that.
by the row foot. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you have to keep sort of track of it to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're planting something that you're going to get 50 cents for out of a foot and a half or $2 or $3, well, you better not grow much of it.
Yeah. That doesn't keep the farm growing.
You know, so
Yeah.
you know, we used to shoot for $250 a foot, and it's much more now.
Wow.
You know, we've got to a point where we've upped it.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So it's overall 30 years in, it's doing well for you. You're doing
Well,
for you.
we eat well.
Yeah. That's good.
Lots of exercise, fresh air.
Yeah.
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 That cold beer at the end of the day, it's really good.
Could.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's you know, I don't know what else I would do. You
Yeah.
know, like, you know, I'm getting on, so it's just like, we'll keep on getting exercise, fresh air.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're doing a bang up job of it.
thank you. I hope we are.
And I'm very thankful for you for sure, because I
I
know
appreciate it.
it makes my life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And there's certain little things, like I love the fact that I can order too many salad greens from you and then not have to worry that I'm going to lose that because it's got the life in it, because it's that fresh, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Right.
Yeah, it hasn't traveled anywhere.
Yeah, it hasn't traveled anywhere. It doesn't have that. Doesn't start to wilt halfway through the 2 days in, and I'm like, yeah,
No,
Yeah.
no. We every batch of everything we produce, we put it some in the cooler
Right.
and control it, so we know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because we've had people say, "Well, I got this yesterday and it went off." No, you
No, you
didn't.
didn't.
No, you didn't. It didn't happen. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
that's
it,
smart. That's smart.
once in a while, something gets too warm.
yeah,
Because we pack here and the cooler's up there,
Right.
and between here and there it gets sun on it or something.
Right.
You know, you get wilty stuff, but then we usually catch it at that end and into the compost it goes,
Right.
and we do it again.
Right.
So,
Wow.
so it's you know, we try and control it, and it's important for me to know how long stuff lasts. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I did a survey. You know, those in stores, those little cellophane things with the 10 snow peas in.
right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
You know, when I was in small scale, we traced them.
Oh, yeah.
It was very interesting. They went from Guatemala to Argentina to be packed. Then they went to Texas, to Dallas for distribution in the United States. Then they went to Toronto,
What?
distribution in Eastern Canada. Then they went to Vancouver
Wow.
and for distribution in British Columbia. So it was
That's incredible.
it was over a month from the time they were picked till the time they got here.
That's amazing.
You know, it's like, and they cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you eat seasonally,
Oh yeah,
that's
exactly.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, but
Wow.
we've all been programmed now, so
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's hard to break those urges that you're like,
Yeah.
I want to have this, and it's
Yeah. We sort of cater to that, don't we?
yeah.
I want a strawberry right now. Well, it's December. Well, somebody's going to provide that strawberry for you
Well, yeah.
because you've
Yeah.
got that demand for one. Right?
yeah, they're gonna get it. You know, I'm harassing our kids now about eating seasonally and
Yeah.
locally, right? It's a struggle. They said, well, we just eat what you got because they don't have to pay for it. Cut the shopping bill down.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, they're doing good. Our grandkids are right into
Oh, yeah?
into it. Yeah,
Oh,
so
good. That's fantastic.
they like to run around down here.
Yeah.
Not a better
Any of
place.
them have the organic farming bug?
Yeah, our oldest granddaughter,
Oh, yeah.
she's 5 now.
Yeah.
And she has her own little garden, and
Oh, that's awesome.
and you know, like she grows a couple tomato plants, and couple cucumbers
Nice.
and that. You know, she's waiting for her legs to get long enough to drive the golf cart. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, farming usually skips a generation too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like my parents never farmed or gardened,
Right.
but my grandparents were huge.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everything does that. Your kids immediately don't want to do whatever you're doing. Then
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, my grandfather, he had a 3/4 of an acre garden. And he was 92 the last time he hand dug it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's probably why he was 92.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been great talking with you. I don't want to hold you up too
well,
much
thank you.
Yeah.
longer.
We've taken up a lot of your time already.
Yeah.
It's the end of the day.
But I think we've learned a lot, and I hope our listeners are going to learn a lot, and they want to come down and visit you and check out the farm stand
Check
here.
out the farm stand, yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind giving the address and how they can get in contact with you?
We're on Dezini Road, 2124 Dezini.
Okay.
As soon as you turn off the highway, it's the first left
Right.
is the farm stand. And, you know, we have a sandwich board out there. It's self-serve, so, you know. It's,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's,
Yeah.
And then
Perfect.
people can get you at Edible Island and Seeds in town.
And seeds, yeah. And so it's good. The farm stand, you know, people enjoy it and that. And it's interesting, after we moved here from Saratoga Beach, some people, their kids used to come with the family camping,
Right.
you know, when they were like 4 and 5 years old, right? And now they're adults and they have kids and they come to our farm stand.
Oh yeah.
Still.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
all,
awesome.
all those years, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, you're not that far, right? You're only a couple of kilometers away.
Yeah.
From where you were previously, so it's not.
Yeah.
So if they really want to find you, they'll find you. You're in the
Oh,
same,
yeah.
same
Yeah.
area.
I know we're just ending up, but I've got one last question that I'm just thinking about. Like, it just occurred to me, is this like just this area, how much since you've come and put the farm in here, how much it's grown with other farms in the area?
Oh,
Right.
It's been huge. When we came here, there were only, I think we were the 3rd farm other than dairy,
Wow.
you know, and now there's probably, I don't know, probably close to 100.
Wow.
So,
Do you know, I used to quote, again, we are wrapping up. Chef Aaron Rail made a offhand comment once on one of our podcasts. And he said he came from Victoria where there was 450 restaurants that were being supplied by 150 farms. And then he moved here where there was 150 restaurants being supplied by 450 farms. And I've always thought that was pretty... gave me context. I didn't realize how many food growers there were in town, and I only just saw. I don't know why I'm going into this so much for a little factoid, but yeah, in the Comox Valley there are 455 registered food growers. I had no idea that we were actually. I thought that was just a shot in the dark that Aaron made, but we are actually at 455 food growers in the valley right now. It's amazing, and 100 of them are here.
well, Merville, you know,
Yeah.
in the outback there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So,
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for everything.
Oh,
I
thank
know
you.
we're trying to wrap this episode up, but we can just keep talking. We got to put an end to it, or we're going to be here all night.
yeah. Cut.
And that wraps up another episode of the Edible Valley podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and a special thanks goes to the local businesses that help support our podcast. They make it possible for us to showcase your local food community. We'd love you to follow us on your preferred social media at Edible Valley, where you can check out our blog, find recipes and tips, behind the scenes, and of course keep a lookout for where we are going to turn up next in your Edible Valley.
Oh, I don't actually need to talk to him. I asked him for a picture. And I was like, why do you want that picture?
And this has been an Edible Valley production.
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, ready again?